Well, hello everyone. This is Chris from Unveiling Geeks. It's nice to be back. I haven't been live for a little while. Hope you're all doing really well. And I have a technical problem with I can hear myself on my headset. Typical new feature. We're now able to stream to Instagram, and something's not quite right. So I do apologize. I'm just going to see what I can do about it. I'm hoping that's fixed it. If the Instagram stream has ended, I do apologize, everyone. If you can hop on over to. No. Typical. Why am I getting that? What's going wrong? Oh, new features. I love them.
I don't know. Also, I can only see the Airecon's overlay. I don't know whether that's intentional. Am I okay to reveal your face? There we go.
Yeah, there we go. I don't know what's going on, but we have got Mark Cooke here with Airecon from Airecon with us. Yeah, hi there,
Hello.
Mark.
Hi.
Is anyone else getting an echo?
No, it's just you.
Okay, I'm going to struggle with this, but I'm going to have to cope. What is going on, Chris?
Do you happen to have the Instagram or YouTube page open in the background? That's going to be... That was my first thought. As I also hurriedly check the my phone for a two-factor authentication code so I can figure out what is going on with the Facebook stream, because that also doesn't seem to be happening.
No, it's fine. I think I've resolved it.
Okie dokie.
That looks like it's solved. However, of course, Instagram would have probably failed, but let's not worry about that. We'll worry about that next time. Anyway, it's nice to be here. It's nice to have everyone here. People I can see are already joining the stream, so they've missed the technical faux pas that we've already had. But it's all good. It's all good. It's glad to have you here, Mark. Thank you very much for joining us. Mark, of course, is the organizer of Airecon and founder. Here he is. He's here. Wow, so it's not long now. It's not long at all, is it?
5 weeks and 2 days. Not that I'm counting.
Not at all counting.
Well, 5 weeks and 1 day, and I'll be there. So I get there on the Wednesday.
Oh, you do? I was going to say you get there probably a couple of days before to deal with all the logistical nightmare that goes with organising a convention of this scale, because it's grown, isn't it?
Yeah, but yeah. And it's still growing, so it does look like this year will be a sellout. We got quite close last year. We purposely didn't add too much more hall space because we didn't want to I've said a few times, we're not just sort of trying to grow a massive convention. We like the community side of it that we have and the feeling that we have, so we don't want to we're trying to almost purposefully curb the growth a bit, but it's not put people off. It's still looking at about another 20% or so up on last year. So,
oh wow,
yeah,
that's incredible.
Yeah, so at some point we'll probably sell out, but we just never know when that's going to be, because everyone seems to leave. We sell something like 70% of our tickets in the last 6 weeks. So
that's crazy. That is absolutely crazy. I mean, when I attended last year myself, it wasn't planned. Originally, myself wasn't even thinking, okay, I'm not going to be able to go. I can't do it. You know, barely a 2-year-old at the time, just the logistics didn't fall straight. So we had a friend of the channel, Katanik, bless her. She reported it to the event because originally one of our friends from Paperback Games was also going to chime in and give us a bit of update. But he was struck down really poorly, Martin, at Airecon. So he was just beside himself. But fortunately, we put provisions in place and a few other friends of the channel helped out as well. So we were able to report on the event, thankfully. But and I then obviously turned up. It was nice. I got to experience it, on the Sunday, and it was quite a lot to behold in one day. I will say. So if the fact that it's now a sellout, imagine what it's going to be like this year, because I'm going to be there on the Sunday myself again. So Greg is going to be there on the Saturday, aren't you, Gregor?
If I mute my mic, I will say yes again. No, and it's going to be my first time at Airecon, which I'm looking forward to it. Nice. It's nice to have to travel north for an event instead of south. That's just generally a nice thing. Get to see somewhere new.
Yeah, definitely. It's good.
Yeah. I mean, so obviously there's a lot of diverse games going on at Airecon, with lots of open play, along with demonstrations and tournaments and things. Is there anything new we can expect this year at Airecon 2020?
Yes. So we a couple of things. Certainly on the gaming side, we have a couple of designers that have done some games for GMT games. They're coming and running a introduction to war games kind of area, war games and historical games. So that is a new thing, and it seems to have been quite popular. It's kind of pre-sign-ups, so they're all free. It's a free thing, but we do recommend pre-sign-ups, and they've been going quite quickly. So that's Joe and Fred running that. Their game is Red Flag Over Paris that they've designed.
Okay.
And then I think Fred's done a couple of others as well. So we thought we'd give that a go as a trial. We've not really done much on the wargaming front before, so and I tried a couple myself over the last year or two. Not traditional kind of war games, probably more historical games, like Votes for Women and 1960 Making of a President, things like that, and they're showing off some of them. So that'll be good, and we're still trying to sort it out, but we might have some Wings of War in there as well going on.
Nice, yes, we're Wings of War,
yeah. So we're just trying to sort out the logistics of that. It might not happen this year, but we'll see.
Watch this space, folks. We might get some, we might not.
yeah. It's always kind of. I think a lot of people sort of think, because of where we are in the year, a lot of people think, I'll sort it after Christmas. You kind of get to December and it's like, it's 3 months away. I'll sort it after Christmas. But that period of year is just, December is just so full of Christmas and parties and New Year and all sorts.
It's gone. We're in February. How's that happened?
So you kind of come out the other side and all of a sudden it's like, well, now it's only 2 months, and actually, that's so much to organise. But hopefully that'll happen. We're also doing a paint and take for the first time with.
Oh wow! Okay.
Tooth and Coats, which is Duncan Rhodes, and again that's all completely free. I don't think Duncan's going to be there himself, but a lot of the team will be. And so we actually trialed that at the Manchester event that we did in December, and it went down really well. So they're coming back for Harrogate.
Fantastic. That's always good. We like things like that.
Yeah.
Who doesn't like a bit of painting?
Yeah, exactly. Yes, I think sort of on the gaming front, we've got other new stuff. We have a brand new event space, which we're very excited about. So last year we kind of had a space upstairs. It was okay, but I think some people kind of found it a bit hard to get to. And it wasn't quite big enough, like, for what we wanted. Like some of the events, like the charity raffle, it was absolutely jam packed on the Saturday. Couldn't like, those people even stood out in the corridor and stuff. So, so sort of between our two entrances, we have the big main entrance with the pillars, and then over to the left, as you're looking at it, is the smaller entrance into Hall A, one of the gaming halls. Right in between the two is an old Edwardian concert hall. And so we're going to be using that as our event space, which really, it's an amazing space. And, it's got the stage, and they even have to bring special people in to do, like, trained people to do the curtains and stuff like that. I don't know.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
But what kind of events are you holding on such a grand stage then? What have you got planned?
I'm going to do a pub quiz.
Ace, who doesn't
Very
love a bit
grand
of
for a
pub
pub
quiz?
quiz.
Yeah, amazingly grand. No, we've got some proper events as well. Pub quiz is just me, an excuse for me to put together a quiz to make people feel
You
silly.
want some stage time.
You want
Exactly.
some stage
You want
time.
the spotlight. I get
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's kind of a funny thing that I started a few years ago, and I just did it at one of the very early Airecons, and I kind of kept everything like hush hush. Even the other Aircon team didn't know the answers to the questions or whatever, and then it's just carried on. And it's good fun. We raise some money for charity.
Is it going to be board game themed?
Oh yeah, it is. It always is. It's like a traditional pub quiz. You have all the normal rounds that you might have, like general knowledge and sport and stuff, but everything is board game themed. So
Love it. I love it.
and
That's
picture
great.
rounds and all sorts. So yeah, it's good fun times. But no, we've got Watch It Played doing a bunch of events in there. They're doing a giant tumbling dice tournament in there, which is quite interesting. Oh no, Strike. Sorry, they're doing Strike. They were considering tumbling dice. They've switched to Strike.
Okay.
But they're going to be using the stage, which I'm not quite sure how they're going to do that, but it sounds intriguing.
That's not your problem because it's not your.
That's not my problem. Yeah, that's. They're doing that, and then they've got some interactive. I'm trying to remember what they've called it. There's an interactive experience with some of the Watch It Play teams, so that'll be interesting.
Okay. I can imagine a lot of people will enjoy that because let's face it, I think everyone in the community at some point has watched something from Watch It Played, and imagine the kind of hilarity that they'll have and ensue with those guys. Yes.
We've got Johnny Chiodini from Oxventure doing the D&D panel show in there. Got Jasper Cartwright from Three Black Halflings doing a live RPG. We've got Ivan Brett, who was on the Traitors Series 1. He's doing a live show called Entropoly, which is a new show that he's come up with where they're going to play a game, but the audience can make up the rules. And it's basically the game just descends into chaos, which is why it's Entropoly.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, fantastic.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Paul Foxcroft coming from Questing Time. Jolly Boat have been coming for a few years now.
Ed's brilliant. Yes, we love Ed from Jolly Boat.
Yeah, they've been coming for a few years and just getting more and more popular every year. So I think this will be a really cool venue to see them in. Like I said, it's all very ornate, and if you go and look at the Royal Hall on Carragher on Google, you can see the insides of it. It's all very fancy with booths and stalls and everything. So yeah,
fantastic.
Should be good.
Wonderful. I mean, of course, you guys, you had a bring and buy last year, didn't you? Mm-hmm. Are you doing that again this year?
Yeah, we will do. It's always it's an interesting challenge running a bring and buy at an event like this. It just seems to outgrow the convention itself, and people's appetite. People's appetite for them is just it's pretty wild. So we'll be doing that, giving it some more space and making a few improvements to our system that we use in the background. So.
I think the success of a bring and buy as well is if they've bought games from last year and they played it, and then they want to give it back. Yeah, a bit like a rental service.
Yes. Yeah, very much so. I mean, of course, one of the big things about UK Games Expo is the fact that, of course, there are lots of exhibitors, and of course, it's the same with yourselves at Airecon. What is it? Have you kind of just grown with the amount of exhibitors at Airecon now? Then have you got a lot more this year than the previous years?
So we kept it about the same as last year, just with the space that we have. I think our thing is obviously open gaming and having plenty of gaming space for people to be able to sit down. And just
one
with
of
the
the
halls
things I think people love about Airecon is the amount of open gaming space.
Yeah, I think so. And so we've tried to, with the exhibitors that we've got, we've just tried to make sure we had a bit more of an application process this year, which we've not really had previously. And we've just tried to make it that, there's a really good variety. We've got a bit of an artists creators alley of various artists and people that make stuff. And and things like that. And Hachette will be back with an even bigger stand, because they had a massive stand last year, but they've got an even bigger one, bringing some.
Oh wow! Okay, nice.
Some new titles, and Coiled Spring and Asmodee. Ravensburger are coming and bringing a load of Disney Lorcana stuff, and they've said they're going to have some special promo. They've not even told me what it is yet. They've said, I think it's under wraps, and they've sort of said, they've asked me when is the latest that we can go to print with something.
Right. So there you go, Lorcana fans. There you go. You've heard it here. There's going to be an exclusive one from Ravensburger. Nice. I mean, I've not been caught by the Lorcana bug. I tried it at UK Games Expo. I got some of the cards, and I basically, my wife was, more struck by it than myself. So, and that's fine. She's a massive Disney nerd, so she'll be really happy to hear that. Are there any kind of new exhibitors that people should be watching out for? That something that's really kind of gone, a game that's really excited you, going, oh my god, they need to know about this?
I mean, I think the best thing to do is, because everyone has so many different tastes, is there's the page on the website, just a big list of exhibitors, and if you go on there, you can click. We've got the links to all of their websites, so I think just go down. We've got Origame coming over from, I think they're coming from Korea, which is quite exciting, and then Oink coming over from Germany. Obviously Oink are based in Japan, but they have a German branch, so they're coming over as well, which should be good. But yeah, there's loads of really cool people coming, making lots of awesome games and awesome stuff. So I think if you just go to that exhibitor page, there'll be something that tickles your fancy, I think. There's
the Paperback Games again, which is really good. We love the guys from Paperback Games, and there's a couple of others here that I recognise. Like you said, Hachette, they're great. Jadasinus Cube, we love the ladies from Jadasinus Cube. There is some fantastic stuff, and of course there's Ree and the guys from Stop, Drop and Roll are going to be there as well. Really good. Excellent. We like to see all that.
And I would recommend stopping by the Nidhogger Mead Co. if you need a bit of refreshment on your way. They do free samples, and so if you like your mead, stop by there. They're about halfway around the hall, so
There you go. And there you go, Claire from Kasagi Jewelry's there as well. There's we know. I hate to say it sounds really bad when I say it like this, but we're recognized by people, and we recognize people. So there's going to be lots of fake faces and squiffy screams when people realize we're there.
I think another one to just have a quick look at is that one that's there on the left, Far Place the Game, which is not unfortunately not about the comic, but it's still something quite cool. They're a rescue home for dogs, and they've basically made a race game. About dogs racing around a track or something, and all the proceeds of their game are going to support their work. So I think that's a cool place to go and stop. And
that is good.
A nice family game.
Them. Yeah, that is. I remember it from a previous event. So yes, then definitely want to go check out. Yes, yeah. So one of the sorry, Gregor, were you about to say something?
Oh no, I was just wondering, is there what's the main thing that sort of ties everything together for you? Because obviously there's a lot of variety in there. Are you targeting any particular demographic, or is it just a sort of free for all? Anyone involved in the hobby? Obviously anyone involved in the hobby is welcome, but what's the vibe?
I think it's we're trying to do stuff that would match the general attendance of the show. So obviously board games are a predominant part of Airecon, and RPGs play a massive part as well. So a lot of the exhibitors will be themed around board games and RPGs. I think as we're starting to do more of this stuff around war games and miniature stuff with the paint and take, we might see some more of that in future years. And really just trying to make it that there's hopefully something for everyone, something that interests people as they're walking around, to either is something they're already interested in and they kind of go, oh, this company's here, that's really cool, and I like their stuff, or someone that's just sort of passing by and going, oh, this looks interesting, and unfortunately opens up a whole new money sinking hobby for them. But
yeah, then that's the truth.
yeah. But I think there's just, it's incredible. You mentioned Games Expo there. You go there and I think whatever they're on now, 350, 400 exhibitors there. And it's just like no two stalls are really the same. It's amazing to see the variety that there is in tabletop gaming as a whole. And
it's mental. I mean, we're exhibiting for the first time at UKGE this year. Cool. So, yeah, didn't have time to try and do exhibit at Airecon. We'll be there next year though. Cool. We were committed to doing our press responsibilities this year, which you were ever so kindly to give us, which is always nice. We do appreciate it. And that's obviously also going to be one of the things that obviously we're going to be there focusing on. Of course, Gregor's going to be, covering the Saturday. I'm going to be there on the Sunday. But our friends from all over the Tinterweb are going to be there. And of course, Katanek, bless her, who covered and reported last year, is going to be there again this year. And she's going to be giving some highlights for us as well, which is really, really good. And cool. I'm not sure if you know Rosie from Cozy Board Games.
Yeah. So she's doing a show with Kim Joy.
I know. Really excited to see that. What day is that taking place? Do you know?
It's on the Saturday.
So Gregor, you get to see that.
It's about noon, I think. So somewhere around lunchtime-ish, midday-ish.
We love Rosie from Cozy Games. So so we will hope, one of us will hope to catch up with her. I think she's there the whole event, isn't she? So that will be really nice. So yeah. Obviously, you mentioned that but you've already discussed what big things and changes that you're having with regards to Airecon 2024. But is there anything that you've kind of had from day one that kind of sits with you as it's an Airecon thing? It's something that you don't want to ever get rid of. What is that? What's your favorite thing about Airecon that you think you would ever get rid of?
I would say it's going to be the open gaming. That's that's what we started as, and what it's always the first thing that goes in whenever we're doing a plan is like we want to make sure our approach to open gaming is that we want to make sure that if everybody that was in the halls all decided that they want to sit down and play a game at once, there's a chair for everyone. So and that's how we work out our capacity. So it'd be tight, but everyone can sit down. And I don't see that ever changing. I think we already have a fantastic sort of expo and somewhere that you can go and see loads of cool new stuff at UK Games Expo. We have a bit of that, but our thing is the gaming and sitting down with people and making friends. And
exactly that. Airecon feels like a gaming cafe, just a massive gaming cafe. And I think even Katanek described it like that as well, and even Rosie, I think, even said that. And it does. It feels like a comfortable space to be, and you're surrounded by the gaming community, and the board gaming community is massive. But whatever stand you go to, you feel like or whether you go and sit down and play a game, you feel like the people because we're all of that same ethos and that interest. And like I say, it just feels like home. It's nice. And that's one of the joys of going to a gaming convention, and the fact that there is space to sit down and play games is important, because that's what it's about at the end of the day. That's why people buy 3-day ticket passes. They want to play games as well as explore and see what's new.
Exactly. No, it's good. And I think we always like the food as well, which seems a bit funny, but we've always, even from our first, it was the first Bradford one, we put on a curry night, which was quite fun. We brought in, even though it was only 100 people at the convention. So this year we've actually increased it again.
You've increased it, have you?
Yeah. So we've got most of the same food trucks. The venue are taking on some of it themselves this year, but doing the sort of same stuff. But then we still do have things like the poutine and the crepes and the barbecue meat one and the noodles, and a new one called Eat Dutch Lekker, which I'm not sure what Dutch Lekker is. Someone says it just means tasty. So
lekker in Dutch is just tasty.
So I'm guessing it's just tasty Dutch food. But we've
Okay.
also added on an actual food hall, so it's a proper place where people go and sit down and eat
Yeah,
food.
because last year was outside, wasn't it?
Yeah, so most of the bands are still outside because a lot of them use gas, so they can't be in a room cooking with gas. So most of them will still be outside, but in that same area. So you still walk to the same area, and kind of there's a big roller shutter that comes up, and behind that there's another big hall that will have a few more food outlets and a bar and a load of seating in it. So yeah,
Fantastic. Yeah, that's good.
very good.
I really like it. The obviously the spaces where obviously everyone's sitting, you spread it out quite nicely previously. You know, you had areas to sit, and then there was more things to explore, areas to sit again, and then more places to explore. Can we expect to see that again this time around?
Yeah, it's a very similar layout, to be honest. We've got if you were there on the Sunday, there was one hall where it was only half of the hall that we had. But this year we're just taking all of that hall for the whole event. So you know, you've got 3 big open gaming halls and they'll have one of them is the bring and buy, one of them is the shop and the merch and the library and stuff like that. And then one will have a bar in it. So yeah, it's a bit more spread out. And then another new thing that we brought in this year is we tried it again at the Manchester event that we did in December, and it worked well. So we've increased it, made it on a bigger scale, which is coloured tablecloths. So each of the halls is going to be a different colour. So it'll be like the red hall or I'm trying to remember what colours we've got now. Red hall, green hall, blue hall. And so just up the road from me here was a very kind lady that sewed, like hemmed these like miles of tablecloth basically.
Oh my god. Never-ending rolls of tablecloth.
We paid her to do it, but it still felt like a big task. So
I bet.
Yeah. So hopefully we're hoping that kind of might make finding games easier. If you say, well, I'm on the blue tables, head over to the blue tables, and yeah, that's the plan.
Yeah. Nice one. Well, I know obviously the major sponsor this year is Watch It Played as it was last year. Do correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah.
But who else is sponsoring it this year? Am I right? Is it Traveling Man? Correct me.
Yeah. So it's Watch It Played are still there as well and coming, and Traveling Man have been involved right from the start. Even the first one, the first one that I did in my house, which we now call Airecon Zero, they even were the sponsors for that, where they provided a few games for me to be able to run a tombola and things like that. And they've been involved all the way along.
Oh, that's nice.
Well, when we moved from Bradford, so we ran one in my house, then 2 in Bradford, and then we moved to Harrogate. And after Bradford, actually, a couple of the Travel Man team came on board as part of the Airecon crew as well. So they've been involved and a really good partner. So.
Yeah, it's good. Nice to see that relationships stand the test of time when it comes to events like this.
Yeah, definitely.
And I think it's important, especially when you got events like this, because that support's needed. Because then it's not, I think, an easy thing to do. Is organising a convention on this scale. I remember back in the day when I used to attend, Warhammer's big events that at the Birmingham EC. They are, it's a logistical nightmare, and the fact that I had to be involved with that just gave me headaches. And I wasn't even organised. All I was a photographer. I had to go around and pick up pictures of people playing games, and that was, an arduous task without doing everything else that you guys do in regards to organising the event. I mean, so obviously it started off with yourself. It's a bit of a history about Airecon. Started out with yourself. And it's expanded to how many people now that organise Airecon?
Well, yeah, I guess it depends how far out you go. So there's still there's a core of 4 of us, and then we have someone that also oversees all of our volunteers. So I guess then like 5. Then we have a few team leaders now that are involved and certainly help run the show through the event. So yeah, and then we have a massive army of volunteers now, about 50 volunteers that come and help as well. So we've got 60, 70 people, I suppose, somewhere around there. But yeah, it's still the same main 4 of us that are doing the bulk of the work in the preparation and social media and graphic design. It's usually one of us that you're speaking to if you contact us.
Yeah. I can imagine that. It's always nice to try and keep things in house, try and keep costs down, because let's think those things kind of cost as well, don't they?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, and with some of these venues and stuff, prices are pretty steep. So margins are always quite fine. So it's always a bit of a balancing act. And
yeah. How much do you think it's of the 4 of you's personal preferences influence sort of what goes into the event, or is it really just like, well, you'll take anyone?
No, I think certainly for things like the volunteers, it's completely open, and we obviously have returning volunteers and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So that always want to be coming back. But beyond that, it's anybody that's willing. Unfortunately we can't always say yes to everyone that wants to volunteer.
Yeah, I meant also in kind of like in the sense of like the events that happen as well.
Oh, sure.
I wasn't suggesting that you handpick volunteers.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah, I guess in terms of the events, it's that's probably mostly myself. I'll be the one sort of contacting people and getting the acts in and things like that. But we've always had an ethos of we just want it to be fun, and so we just try and put on lots of fun events. And that's generally our measure of like, do we think someone would find this fun? Like, even if I don't personally,
yeah,
is it going to be fun for someone? And if so,
and it definitely is, because I went round here last year with a 1.5-year-old stroke nearly 2, who I did not know how she was going to take that event.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of things. It's sensory overload for us, let alone someone knee high.
Yeah.
Who wants to get out of her pram, get off your shoulders, and just interact with everything. And I tell you what, for her first ever games convention, my little girl Amelia did so well. And I think people are going to be gutted that she's not with me there, Nick, this year. So I'm in an R-ing whether I can, get the nod from the missus to bring her along, and also Mr. Sam, because she is Uncle Sam to him as well. So it'll be a hard-pressed time for both of us looking after her, let alone myself, like it was the previous year, because she's a whole lot more active now.
Yeah, and I think we'll have the aircrew babies will be there this year as well. So Ben, who's one of the other directors, he just had a little girl just after the last Airecon, I think like 2 weeks after. So she's not even 1 yet. And so she's coming over. Nice. My kids usually turn up at some point on the Saturday, and last year they were helping in the tuck shop. So I think they were fetching drinks for people, so people would order a coat. And my mum, she works in the tuck shop as well, so you'll see her. She's
proper family event then.
Yeah, normally on her badge she has instead of her name, she has Mark's mum.
I love it.
But she said last year was the first time. She said she really felt like the event had grown last year because it was the first time that someone went to her, "Who's Mark?" And she said, so that was quite nice.
Did she get defensive? Was she like, "That's nice," or was it just?
Yeah, no, she was fine. She thought it was quite
brilliant.
She kind of liked it actually. So now I think she's writing both. She's writing her actual name. But yeah, so she was sort of serving people. She would turn to my daughter and say like a can of Coke, and then my daughter would run over to my son who was stood at the fridge and go a can of Coke. So he would get a can of Coke out, pass it to her. She'd run back to my mum, pass it to her, and then she'd give it to whoever was. I mean, people were having to wait 20 minutes for a can of Coke, but still, it was
it's about involvement. I mean, my little girl, so alongside this, or alongside everything else that I do regarding Diary of a Linking Geek, my day job. I also have a Lego shop here in Lincoln, and we've been open about 6 months. My little girl calls it her hut. And whenever she's there visiting, she's always showing people around. It's adorable.
Yeah.
So I'll have to, it's like that.
Yeah, I'll have to pop in next time over. I mean, for whatever reason, I used to travel quite often from North Links down to because it's I think Nottinghamshire, so sort of Scunthorpe area down to Grantham.
Oh, okay.
For some reason, hardly ever stopped at Lincoln. I don't know why. Like going right past it. Came in a couple of times.
Well, we're in Curtin and Lindsay, so if you want to pop by, then you're more than welcome to come say hi.
Yeah,
especially if you like Lego.
Well, I do like Lego, but I feel like I haven't got enough space to really get. Like a couple of my friends are really into it and have a lot of the big stuff. The one I really want to do is the Home Alone one with the lights inside it, the Home Alone house.
Oh yeah, the Home Alone set's really nice. That's really good. Yeah. I mean, coming back to obviously board games. So before we kind of wrap up and say thank you to you, one thing that we kind of like do in these conversations is talk about our favorite game that we've been playing over the last few months. Now, the one for recently for me has been, believe it or not, what's behind me is Grim Forest. It's quite an old game. I've been playing it with the missus. We really enjoy it to the point where I'm this close to wanting to paint the miniatures. So, but I've been playing a lot more recently with my group of friends is Oathsworn by Shadow.
Oh yeah.
And the reviews we've just done has just come out for that. So absolutely loving it. But what's your favorite game that you've been playing of recent?
I mean, the big one is we just finished Ticket to Ride Legacy.
Okay.
Myself and my wife, and that was a really great experience. We had a lot of. I'm a big Ticket to Ride fan anyway, but that was a lot of fun. And we found a way with if you just play with 2 players like we did, there's a way of resetting it and you can play through it all again. So we've done that, and we're going to play through it a second time at some point. So
that's interesting.
And so you can play it twice without needing like a recharge pack or anything like that.
Yeah, it takes some fiddling about. Like it's not an official thing, but we found a way to do it. So because there's like 5 colors in the game, and so I mean you could do a two-player game and a 3-player game, I guess, but it does take a little bit of work on your part. But we felt like it was worth it. We're going to do that again. Trying to think what else we've been playing. Be a Pioneer was one that we really enjoyed that I brought back from Essen. It was quite a serious. There's a company called Spiel Fable, and it feels like go way back in board game days too, because when you buy this game, it's in German, and then they hand you an English rulebook separately.
Printed out on the sheet of A4.
Yeah,
it's not far off. Yeah.
Right, so you bought our game, and now you need this to interpret it.
Yeah. What's kind of funny is that in the English rulebook, they've translated everything, but they haven't translated the cards and the boards. So even things like something on the board will be in German, but in the English rulebook is in English, so you don't know what it is. Like you have to then go to Google Translate and be like, well, what is this trying to say? And then find it on.
It's a challenge in itself.
Yeah. So it's really good. I just got Pest through the other day, which I'm looking forward to giving a go. That looks very nice.
Fantastic. Mr. Gregor, what about you?
Main thing, thing that I played most recently is a game called Your Friend Is Sad, which is all about cheering up a friend. And it's all the art has been done by like various webcomic artists, who none of whom I can name off the top of my head because they're the sort of thing that just appears in my feed, rather than me like knowing the name of the artist, for which I can only apologise. But yeah, that's lots of fun. I will try and write a review for that at some point, I expect, which will appear on the Diary of Linking Geek website in due course.
go. Fantastic. Brilliant. Well,
Am I allowed to ask one last Airecon related question?
Go for it.
How accessible is it as a convention? How easily, if I say, for example, I'm someone who's never been and is very bad at advanced planning, but has contractually been obligated to go on the Saturday. How would you recommend getting to Airecon? How easy is it?
Are you talking transport wise, or like when you
both? Both from accessible from being able to get there, and then accessible internally.
Yeah, sure. So when you getting there is fairly easy, with a 5-minute walk from the main Harrogate train station, and it's downhill from the train station. Obviously, that means it's uphill on the way back when you've got even more games. But and there's a couple of car parks nearby. They are a little bit pricey, but there's various websites that you can go on and you can find free. There is some free street parking kind of fairly close by as well, and people rent out their drives, so you can park on someone's drive in their house, which there's all that sort of stuff, so it's all pretty easy. We are on the, I don't know what end you call it, the kind of the southern end, I think it is, of the convention centre. So actually the convention centre's car park that they have underground at this convention centre is not the closest car park. It's not the other end of the convention centre. There's another one. I think, is it Victoria Street car park? Maybe it's something like that.
I think it is something like that. But I do remember that the car park as part of the convention centre wasn't that unreasonable, because that's where I parked last year.
Okay.
So if anyone wanting to attend, don't be put off by that. But it is probably easier to get to the convention hall via train and walk. Unless you're coming back with lots of games, in which case then you might want your car.
Or if you're staying in one of the hotels, most of them have the bigger hotels have car parking. So, but once you're in, it's almost all on one level. There's a few little steps from down the back of the exhibitor hall into the rest of the halls, and then some of it's upstairs. But there's escalators and lifts and all sorts. And in terms of actually finding stuff to do, there's a lot of it you can just jump in. Some of the events might sell out, and some of the RPGs and these war games might. The spaces might fill up, but in terms of the other stuff, a lot of the events you can just turn up and get in on. It's finding people to play games with. We have a whole bunch of stuff. We have an app that you can use. We have Game Seekers area where you can turn up to. If you turn up on the odd hours, there'll be a games guru there whose job it is to find you other people to game with. We have lightsabers that people put on tables that light up and show that there's a game happening with space for players. So yeah, lots of stuff. Hey, there you go.
We weren't expecting that now, were you?
This is the one we have.
Well, that's a full size one.
Well, this was a prototype that's attached to a beer bottle. But the final
version. This is one of my ambit full lamps. It's brilliant. Fantastic. Lovely, lovely. Cool. Well, look, of course, anyone, thank you, Greg. He's already put the information on screen. Anyone that is wishing to attend Airecon, of course, in Harrogate, it's taking place on the 14th and the 17th of March. Of course, all the information is going on the bottom of your screen that you can see right now, airecon.co.uk. It's been an absolute pleasure chatting to you, Mark. Thank you for coming on and talking to us about Airecon and give us a bit of a juicy, insider of what to expect. It's always really nice. We do appreciate it. So,
thanks for having me.
We've got our own article about Airecon coming up as well on the website at some point quite soon, I think.
Yes, I believe it's going to be released this week. So hopefully all being well and good, unless there's any glitches, it should be out this Friday. No more technical faux pas from Mr. Chris. Right, well, before we go, there is one last thing to say. Of course, if you aren't following us on the social medias, please do. But before we go, I just want to say thank you to everyone that supports the Diary of a Linking Geek channel, and particularly our sponsor, who we're going to say a little thank you to now.
Honey Badger Games sponsors Diary of a Lincoln Geek, the perfect treat for any class. They have an amazing selection of meeples, dice and potions, all in fantastic jelly form. Check out the website and the discounts below.
Thanks, everyone. We hope to see you all soon and hope to see you at Airecon. And we'll take care, stay safe, and keep gaming, everyone.
See you later.
Bye.
Well, we hope you've all enjoyed the show. If you have, please hit that relevant social media icon and show your love. In the meantime, please do subscribe if you aren't already following us on YouTube. And of course, make sure you stay safe and keep gaming.